The night sky over Britain in 1940 felt empty, but it was not quiet. Somewhere above the dark countryside, engines hummed at low throttle, unseen and unheard by the people below. German bomber crews believed the darkness belonged to them. They believed the British were blind at night. They believed no one could find them in the black sky. For months, this belief kept them calm. Then, one by one, their aircraft began to vanish. No warning, no searchlights, no flak, just sudden fire from nowhere. German pilots started talking about an invisible hunter. At first, even their own commanders did not believe them. But by the time the truth became clear, it was, if you want more content like this, subscribe now and comment below. It's already too late. This story begins not with a dogfight, not with a crash, but with a quiet problem inside the Royal Air Force. In the summer of 1940, after the Battle of Britain had shifted from daylight to darkness, German bombers returned every night. They attacked London, Coventry, Liverpool, Birmingham, and dozens of other cities. The Blitz had begun. British radar could track incoming raids, but once the bombers crossed the coast and spread out, the RAF had almost no way to stop them. Fighters could not see in the dark. Pilots flew blindly, hoping to spot an exhaust flame or a silhouette against moonlight. Most nights, they found nothing. Air Marshal Sir Hugh Dowding, head of RAF Fighter Command, knew something had to change. Britain could not survive endless night bombing without a defence. The answer was not faster planes or better guns. The answer was information. The answer was radar, not on the ground, but in the air. This idea sounded impossible in 1940. Radar sets were large, heavy and unreliable. Putting one inside a fighter aircraft seemed like a fantasy. But British scientists were already working on it in secret. By late 1940, the RAF began forming its first true night fighter units. One of these was No. 604 Squadron, based at RAF Middle Wallop in Hampshire. It flew the Bristol Beaufighter, a heavy twin-engine aircraft armed with 4 20mm Hispano cannons and 6 303 machine guns. The Beaufighter was fast, stable, and had long range, but its real weapon was hidden in its nose. It carried the Airborne interception Mark Thorpe radar, known simply as AIMK-4. This radar allowed the aircraft to detect enemy bombers in total darkness. Most pilots did not trust it. The early radar screens were small and confusing. The signals jumped and flickered. It took patience, intelligence and calm to use it effectively. Many experienced fighter pilots refused to fly night fighters. They found the work slow, lonely and terrifying. But one man saw opportunity where others saw frustration. His name was John Cunningham. John Cat's Eyes. Cunningham was born on July 27, 1917, in Croydon, south of London. He was not loud or aggressive. He was calm, thoughtful, and highly intelligent. Before the war, he had studied engineering at Cambridge University. He joined the RAF in 1937, 2 years before the war began. When Britain went to war in September 1939, Cunningham was already a trained pilot, but he was not yet famous. That would come later, in the dark. In early 1940, Cunningham joined No. 604 Squadron as a pilot. At first, the squadron flew Blenheim fighters, which were underpowered and poorly armed. Night interceptions were mostly failures. Cunningham struggled like everyone else. He spent long hours flying in circles, guided by ground controllers, only to return to base without seeing a single enemy aircraft. But unlike many others, he did not complain. He studied the radar. He asked questions. He worked closely with his radar operator, a role officially called the observer. One of the most important people in Cunningham's story was Wing Commander Edward Ted Pelly Fry, who commanded No. 604 Squadron. Pelly Fry believed strongly in radar and teamwork. He paired Cunningham with a skilled observer named Flight Lieutenant James Jimmy Rawnsley. Rawnsley was responsible for reading the radar screen and guiding Cunningham toward enemy aircraft. The two men developed a quiet understanding. They trusted each other completely. On the night of November 19, 1940, over the English Midlands, Cunningham achieved his first confirmed night victory. Flying a Blenheim, guided by Rawnsley and ground radar, he closed in on a German Heinkel He-111 bomber. At around 11:30 p.m, he opened fire at close range. The Heinkel caught fire and crashed near Burton-on-Trent. It was one of the first successful radar-guided night interceptions in history. The victory did not make headlines, but it changed everything. Soon after, No. 604 Squadron re-equipped with the Bristol Beaufighter. The difference was immediate. The Beaufighter's speed allowed Cunningham to catch bombers more easily. Its heavy cannons could destroy a bomber with a short burst. Most importantly, the AI radar worked better in the larger aircraft. Cunningham and Rawnsley practiced night after night, refining their method. Ground radar would guide them close. Then Rawnsley would take over, using the airborne radar to bring them within a few hundred yards of the target. Cunningham would wait until he could see the bomber's outline, then fire. German bomber crews began noticing something strange in early 1941. Aircraft were being shot down without warning. There were no searchlights, no anti-aircraft fire, no visible fighters. Survivors reported seeing cannon fire appear suddenly from the darkness. Some believed the British had pilots with supernatural night vision. Others thought Britain had developed a secret weapon. German intelligence dismissed these reports as panic or exaggeration. By March 1941, Cunningham was becoming extremely effective. On the night of March 3rd, over the Bristol Channel, he destroyed 2 Heinkel bombers in a single sortie. On May 15, 1941, during a heavy raid on London, he shot down 3 bombers in one night. His calm, approach and precise attacks made him deadly. He did not chase wildly. He did not waste ammunition. He closed in silently and struck once. The British government noticed they needed a hero, but they also needed to protect the secret of airborne radar. So they created a story. Newspapers began calling Cunningham Cat's Eyes. They claimed he had extraordinary eyesight and could see in the dark after eating carrots. This was partly a joke and partly deliberate misinformation. It helped hide the real reason for his success. The German High Command took the bait. They focused on eyesight, not electronics. By July 1941, Cunningham had become the leading night fighter ace in the world. On July 30th, 1941, he was awarded the Distinguished Service Order. By the end of the year, he had destroyed at least 16 enemy aircraft at night. His exact total would later be recorded as 20 confirmed kills, all achieved in darkness. No other pilot matched this record during the war. German. Commanders slowly realised something was wrong. Losses were increasing, especially over Western and Central England. Bombers were being intercepted far from their targets. In August 1941, the Luftwaffe began experimenting with new tactics. They reduced bomber formations, changed routes, and flew at different altitudes. They also introduced radar warning receivers, such as the Fuji-202 Liechtenstein, but these came too late to stop Cunningham's rise. One of Cunningham's most famous victories occurred on the night of October 1st, 1941, near Dunstable, Bedfordshire. Flying Beaufighter R2106, he intercepted a Dornier Du Tu-17 bomber returning from a raid on London. Using AI radar, Rawnsley guided him into position from below and behind. At a range of less than 200 yards, Cunningham fired a short burst. The Dornier exploded in mid-air. All 4 crew were killed. German intelligence later studied the wreckage and concluded the attack had been unexpected and precise, a phrase that appeared repeatedly in Luftwaffe loss reports. Despite his success, Cunningham remained quiet and modest. He avoided publicity. He focused on training younger pilots and improving tactics. In late 1941, he was promoted to wing commander and given command responsibilities. Although this reduced his flying time, his influence grew. He helped shape RAF night fighting doctrine, emphasizing radar discipline, patience, and teamwork. By 1942, the balance of the night war had shifted. The RAF had dozens of night fighter squadrons equipped with improved radar, including AI Mk7 and Mkv8 sets operating on shorter wavelengths. The de Havilland Mosquito began replacing the Beaufighter, offering even greater speed. German bomber losses became unsustainable. In May 1942, the Luftwaffe largely ended its night bombing campaign against Britain. John Cunningham survived the war. He finished with the rank of Group Captain and remained one of the most successful night fighter pilots in history. After the war, he returned to engineering and aviation, eventually becoming a test pilot and later working in the aerospace industry. He died on July 21, 2002, at the age of 84. For German bomber crews, the invisible hunter had been very real. At first, they could not believe it. The idea that someone could find and kill them in complete darkness seemed impossible. But radar, patience, and one calm pilot proved them wrong. In the silent sky, long before missiles and night vision, John Cunningham showed that the night could belong to the hunter, not the hunted. If you want more content like this, subscribe now and comment below.